All right, Nick. Ronnie Stanley, standout Baltimore left tackle, has finally been activated off of the PUP list. This is a big, big deal for Baltimore. He's been gone for the last 2 years. We've been in O-line turmoil for the last 2 years, and it has been a heck of a time, to say the least. But he's back. There's good news on the horizon, and we'll see what happens. And you kind of have the story on this and what all this means for Baltimore. But before we get there, Ravens fans, I'm excited about our team this year. I'm sure you are as well. Tons and tons of nice looking draft picks. A couple of interesting key additions and free agency that we've made this year. I want to know in the comments below. Let us know, who are you most excited to see as a new addition on this Ravens team, whether it be offense, defense, draft pick, free agency, or even trade? Let us know in the comments below. Who are you the most excited about this season? But Nick, let's get into Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah, so since we're talking Stanley O-line, I think Linderbaum, not hearing a lot from him, I think he's going to have a huge impact for the Ravens. I think this is going to be a guy, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time watching him because obviously he's playing the offensive line. I think he's going to be a really nice player. But back to Ronnie Stanley, this is according to NFL.com. Ronnie Stanley took a significant step toward a healthier return last Friday when he passed his physical. The Ravens announced Stanley's successful physical examination, clearing the way for him to get back on the field, perhaps in time for Week 1. Stanley played just one game last season after fracturing his ankle in 2020. Last Friday's news means Stanley will be able to come off the PUP list, like you said, in the near future. And although he doesn't have a ton of time to prepare for the 2022 season opener, Coach Harbaugh could feel compelled to allow Stanley to play despite having less than 3 weeks to get ready. All right, Mike. So obviously getting off the PUP list is huge because if you stay on it through this point of when rosters are being cut down, it means you can't practice. It's not just play. You can't practice with the team for 4 weeks. So when a guy's on the PUP list, it doesn't mean they're going to be out for only 4 weeks. It means it's most likely much longer. The fact that he's off of it's a very good sign. There's indications like the story mentioned that he could be ready for Week 1, which would be absolutely huge because the AFC, the entire AFC, but really the AFC North always is a bloodbath. The AFC this year is especially a bloodbath. That's just a conference. So getting him on the field as soon as possible will be massive. What are your thoughts on Stanley and the Ravens?
So Stanley, when healthy, is bar none probably one of the best left tackles in football. And I would arguably say he's the best pass blocker in football. In 2019, the last healthy year he had, he graded out at an absurd 93.3 pass blocking grade.
That's unreal.
He's an absolute animal in the pass blocking game. And he's been gone for 2 years. I think people kind of forget, especially if you're not a Baltimore fan, you forget how absolutely dominant Stanley was at left tackle. You never had to worry about that side of the field. He was a monster. He is such a huge addition to this team that if he comes back and he's like 75% as good as he was, it's going to be an enormous upgrade. I think Stanley can come back. I think he can get back to where he was. He's a young guy. He's very, very talented. He's a super hard worker. I really like his chances at getting back to his all-pro form. But Stanley, just being, like I said, 75% of what he was, it would be incredible. What do you think about Stanley as, an O-lineman, as pass blocker, run blocker? I mean, he adds a lot of value to this team, don't you think, Nick?
Oh, it's insane. And we dug up the stats here, and let's compare 2019, his last full healthy season, to what we're looking at 2021. And when I look at these two stats here, I'm sorry, this is the Ravens overall statistics. So 2019 is obviously Stanley's last healthy year. 2021, he obviously only played the one game. And look at the stats there. We've got pressure percentage, the percentage of pass plays that end with the quarterback pressure. We got the hurries per game, the number of times per game a quarterback is hurried, in this case Jackson, and the percentage of passing attempts that end in sacks. And you can look at that massive delta between 2019 and 2021. You got massive changes in both pressure percentage, hurries per game, sack percentage. It is huge. And when you talk about, well, why was Jackson, an MVP level guy in 2019 but in 2021, he's turning the football over more. Well, if you look at this, it's because he's hurried almost twice the amount of times. He's pressured almost 6% more. His sack percentage is almost double. And it all builds on itself, right? If you're hurried more, it results in more turnovers. You don't have time to read the defense. If you get sacked more, you're in a lot more long yardage situations, right? If you get sacked on 2nd and 2, it's 3rd and 10. We're more likely to throw an interception on 3rd and 10 than 3rd and 2. I mean, it's just reality. It's just what the data says. So that's the impact of having a guy like Stanley can do on this offense. And obviously there's a lot more moving parts, other than Stanley being active more in 2019 than versus 2021. But you cannot deny that his impact on Lamar Jackson is going to be absolutely huge. And again, 2019 was the special year for Lamar Jackson. And Jackson, obviously, in his big contract year, with Stanley back in the fold, he's hoping he can recreate a lot of that magic from that season based on a lot of these numbers related to the protection. And both him and the Ravens can have that same kind of win total this season and propel that potentially for Jackson's sake into a really big contract and payday.
Yeah, and when I look at the Ravens O-line this year, it has me relieved. It's so much better than it has been the last 2 years. Obviously, let's assume that Stanley does make it back for week 1. You got Stanley at left tackle, got Morgan Moses potentially at right tackle, Linderbaum in the center position, and Zeitler or a couple other guys probably work themselves into the guard positions. This is such a better offensive line that we've had in a while now, that Lamar and everybody around us, obviously the running backs are coming back off of injury, and there's just so much to look forward to with this team this year. It seems like there's so many people coming back from injury. It's almost unrecognizable, the team that you're going to see out on the field. So I'm just excited for week 1 to start. I want to get back to football, and I want to see what a healthy Ravens team can do, because I want to see Lamar sign that big deal. I want to see him come back, and I want to see like 7-8 Super Bowls. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's a very, very good bar for me to set for the team. But,
Do you think with Stanley back, they throw it more with Roman's offense? Do you think they let Jackson rip it a little bit more? I mean,
I'd hope so. I would hope so, because you can trust your pass blocking a little bit more, and that's kind of been the downfall. A lot of people have been saying that Roman has been holding Jackson back by not letting him throw. But obviously, we've got new wide receiver coaches, new passing game coordinators that really made a difference last year. If everybody's healthy. We've got a couple new weapons around the offensive side of the ball. So I think this is the year for Jackson to go out there, sling it around a little bit more, get back to his old MVP form, and truly show us what he's made of. All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.